There are many kinds of rice and different ways of making it. Today I will explain how to make Mexican rice. Rice is a staple food for nearly 1/2 of the world's population, which I found on the website for a history of food. There are many ways that rice can be made depending on what culture you are from. The different varieties of rice can be from fried rice to steamed rice, as well as many others. With its different spices, it makes each dish unique in its own way. Rice crops produce more food energy and protein supply per hectare than wheat or maize. For the materials, you will need 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, some tomato bouillon with chicken flavoring, some corn oil. You will need a knife, a tablespoon, a cutting board, as well as the mixing spoon, the pot, a tomato, an onion, and a tooth of garlic. Once everything is fully combined, it will give it all the flavoring it needs. The corn oil will help it so it won't get stuck on the pot, and the water is going to help it while it boils so it can cook. Make sure that all the materials needed are gathered in order to move on to the next step. You wouldn't want the rice to burn. Once the piece of garlic, the tomato, and the onion is gathered and washed, you will need your knife. Slice the tomato into slices, about 3 decent slices. Then cutting up those same slices, you will need to make sure to cut them into small square-shaped pieces. After the tomato is cut, you will do the same with an onion and make sure to cut it also into small squares. Lastly, you will need to cut the garlic tooth into really tiny pieces. If you prefer to grind them in the liquefier, but I prefer to cut them into pieces. A little goes a long way. All these is to give them some flavoring, so that way it won't taste like too much garlic or too much onion or tomato. After the vegetables are cut, you will need to place the pot on the stove so that it can start warming up. Make sure to have the heat at medium. Level 7 would be fine so that the rice won't cook so quickly or it won't come out right. While the pot is warming up, add 1/4 cup of corn oil. A lot won't be necessary since it just helps so it won't be stuck to the pot and it helps it fry it a little bit. Next, you will need 1 cup of rice, which will serve around 3 to 4 people. Whatever brand of rice is fine. And now that your supplies are all at your hand and ready to go, you add the rice into your pot as soon as the pot is warm. You don't have to mix the rice so often so that it'll have time to cook. So every now and then you can go ahead and mix it, that way it won't burn. Stir the rice until it's a little gold colored. Once it has gotten a little color, the next step is to add the ingredients. First, the garlic chunks will be added and mixed in with the rice. And the garlic chunks have been added. Next, the onion will be added. The onion takes a bit longer to cook than the tomato since it's thicker, so it should be added first. After you add the onion and have cooked it for a little while, you will need to add the tomato, since it doesn't take much for it to cook along with the rice. A little after everything has been cooking together for a while, you will need to add the 2 cups of water. For every cup of rice that you make, it goes with 2 cups of water. So if I made 2 cups of rice, it would have needed 4 cups of water. Once the water is added, you will need to add a tablespoon of the tomato bouillon. Make sure to get all of the rice off of the spoon. And then you add the tablespoon of the tomato spices. Let the rice sit for a while, because if you mix it, it's going to cause it to get all sticky and moist. Once the rice starts to boil, make sure to cover it up and lower it so that it won't burn and it will cook at its time, so it won't be overcooked. After the rice is done, we can see that the rice absorbed most of the water in order for it to be nice and spongy, as well as the flavor that the ingredients gave it. The rice